Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. For Team Liquid, some familiar faces have been rising to the occasion and elevating them to face off against the faces of evil yet again today.
The face of evil, and evil is reigning supreme right now.
Yeah.
EG is one of the best teams in the league. And if you actually just remove all the spring and you just look at this summer, they're tied for first. Up there with 100 Thieves. Well, I guess 100 Thieves just won, but TSM as well. And I think it's because they've seemed to have resolved a lot of the issues that plagued them in the past. We see that not only are they aggressive, but they're controlled in finishing out games by choking out vision, making sure that their objective setup is really good, and not getting caught out in side lanes nearly as much in the late game.
Yeah, they've been fighting against that chip that has been perched on their shoulders in spring.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to just better team fighting, right? The biggest thing is if you're not confident with how you're playing front to back when those team fights arise versus the best teams, then what's gonna happen? Like, you're gonna get popped. That's what happened consistently versus evil geniuses in playoff time. So, like, this is a massive improvement. Looking at who they actually have to face in the next few games, not only today versus Team Liquid, but also 100 Thieves that had a damn good showing today. Yeah, they can solidify with a strong statement going into the playoffs.
Right, well, Team Liquid is coming back, actually. They have Santorin.
Yep.
I'm pretty happy about that. I've been a firm believer that without Santorin, Team Liquid is not a title contender. But with Santorin, they are a title contender. Hopefully, he's able to play the rest of the games. No offense to the previous jungler, anything at all. But I love Santorin on the team. I think they're a lot stronger with him than without.
Yeah, just take a look at the stats that he's had. I mean, he's been playing from week 1 to week 3, and then now he's just coming in. So, of course, not a lot of games underneath him, but he's always been a powerhouse. And so, like, I've lost a few predictions already because I felt confident about Team Liquid even when they brought in Armeo, and they've still been losing games regardless. Yesterday, I'm back on board.
Okay.
A lot of it. Yes. Because when the full team, I feel like it's the buy-in. When you see Santorin in, mentally, it's like, well, we have our full roster now. Jensen was playing well considering a lot of, pieces and ganks were coming his way. Top lane, like, you saw him being dominant, and then the bot lane was what carried Team Liquid through.
Yeah, it's not just that Santorin was doing well on his return, the rest of the team really following suit.
Yeah, and they put Alphari on Malphite, which is like unthinkable normally, but here they had a really, really strong draft last game with the Lulu to support, the Caitlyn pushing bottom lane. They had the Thresh to sort of provide not only survivability for the Cape, but the ability to play make bottom lane. And this is what I like to see from TL. Like, not only do they have Santorin to sort of emphasize the advantage that they can create through top, they also are comfortable saying, hey, we're actually going to put Alphari on a more supportive top laner and play through bottom because we're really confident there too.
Yeah, it was a very straightforward draft, and I don't think they're going to go towards something like this consistently, but I do think that the fact that they can kind of dip into other strategies, right? Because you're right, this draft, you won't be playing on side lanes nearly as much. In this case, when they found a flashless Jace on side, perfect. Yeah, Olaf is going to come in there and get a free kill. But, like, it showcased that Team Liquid can still play for team fights to the point you're making.
Yeah, and I think this versatility is really important because if we think back to mid-season showdown, what happened is Alphari was consistently getting camped, especially by Cloud9, and it was very predictable what Team Liquid would play through. So now that they've shown this other look, it's less predictable how this team is going to come out of the gate.
Yeah, a constant just idea of discussion has been, all right, Alphari, he's doing things, but can the team play around them in the end?
Right, I think if we take a look at some of Alphari's games, there's times where he's kind of really greedy, whether that be his own personal decision or whether that be a team decision. In this specific instance here, when you're gangplank and you're super ahead, you want to be at objectives ahead of time so you can set up your barrels and poke them with the barrels while they're coming in. But you'll notice here, there's a bot wave pushing in. He runs to the bot wave to clear that instead of prepping for a dragon. If he's just sitting ahead of time at dragon, this is probably theirs. But the fact that he goes down to the bot wave, shows himself there, Golden Guard is like, hey, this guy's not here, he's the strongest member of the team, we take this fight now. So it's just instances like this where he shows his greed to whether it be the farm. I don't know if it's his decision or not, or maybe you can blame Team Liquid for being too far out while he's catching the wave. Whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. If you're the one that's fed on your team, you want to carry your team, maybe they suck, maybe they're slacking, you want to carry, you have to be in the right position, even though they're in the wrong position. It's like one of those weird instances.
Yeah, for sure they're having a conversation based off that, and I think a conclusion that I would rather draw is, to your point, like, playing that far aggressively. If you have a 5K goal lead, it doesn't matter if you're the first one hitting the dragon or the last one hitting the dragon, right? Just being there when you are ready and fully taking those waves. So if GP needs to take, if GP is going to take the wave, I'm fine with that as long as they're not pressing so far forward.
And we're ready to get into Champion Select right now. Evil Geniuses taking on Team Liquid. And when we're talking a bit on what we saw yesterday, I mean, the Thresh is already banned away, right? That bot lane really coming online with the Thresh and the Caitlyn prior.
Yeah, and from EG, what I wanted to see them do is just draft really strong mid-jungle combo. I think a Xin is a great pickup here. Hopefully they can get Syndra, but I expect that Team Liquid should look to deny that. But just focus on getting Jizuke in situations where he has lane pressure. Yesterday, we did see him perform fine on the TF, but we have to remember, yeah, it's my favorite, now it's my favorite. But we do have to remember that was after an early game where they did fall behind, right? And TF was not impacting the side lane. So I like that EG's going for a strong jungle pick. I want to see them pick an equally strong mid pick to supplement that.
I think right now from Team Liquid, I would love to see them go towards Viego and a Leona or
Not Diana?
Support pick. Not a Diana, just for the matchup. If you are going against the Xin Zhao, then you just concede so much if you're going Diana there.
I actually really like the two bans from Team Liquid, the Ryze and LeBlanc. I think Jizuke is really strong when he's uncomfortable with champions. He doesn't have a shallow champion pool by any means, but he does do really well when they have Ryze and LeBlanc. And since they first picked Xin Zhao, I imagine Team Liquid banned to make it so EG does first pick Xin. He doesn't necessarily have a very strong combo. Like, yeah, you could do TF, but then your 2v2 is really weak. Or you could do the Syndra, but then that's also, it's like okay. So I like the bans from Team Liquid here.
One direction that I think Team Liquid can go here is once again going to a support pick. Leona, I think, is a very good pickup here if you're them. You also can hide where the Tristana is actually going between mid and AD carry. I expect it to be a tactical Tristana because I think they're so comfortable playing that like kind of playstyle bot side, but it at least makes it easier for Jensen to then like get the favorable matchup.
It's still a lot of support options open as well, being that only the Thresh has been banned away, but the bot laners getting locked in potentially for both sides depending on where that Tristana goes.
Yeah, and I think this is an expected Kai'Sa lock-in from EG. They've been favoring a lot of the Aphelios. They haven't been playing Varus at all, actually. So I think this is just putting Danny on comfort. Interesting. And so impact going on Gnar immediately. I think this is a good pick for the way they like to play the game. Typically, they like to 1-3-1 and focus on a lot of side laning later in the game. And this gives impact agency to just go off and create pressure for the rest of the team to then follow up around. If they're going to play this way, so I know I mentioned that I want to see strong mid pressure, but if they're going to leave the mid pick to second rotation, then we might end up just seeing a TF here because that allows them to then play the 1-3-1 even better.
My biggest problem with picking top lane here is that, as I said, Leona was the expected pick on 3. Now just start raining bans where Kai'Sa does really feel like she needs a support, like a Nautilus or an Alistar to set her up, where I think that now Team Liquid can kind of pinch that, and I'm trying to figure out where Ignar would want to go outside of that. So maybe a Rakan, maybe that's what he's going for, but that's an ultra weak bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of supports available still. I mean, he's played the Rel even before the buff. She got buffed recently. He could still go for the Rel for that engage. So I think overall, like, it's gonna be fine here. You know, they get pinched a little bit, but I'm actually more concerned about Jizuke having picks remaining in his mid pool because I've talked about Syndra and I think that gives a strong mid jungle, but at the same time, I'm not sure how confident Jizuke is on the Syndra because I just haven't seen him play the pick.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have much control there. I do think it's going to be a top lane pick from Team Liquid on 4, knowing that it's the Gnar pick. So the Gnar, I think, is making it very difficult for Evil Geniuses. They get the comfort there for sure, but it is very easy for Team Liquid to go get a top lane pick on 4 and then save their Tristana flex on 5.
So there's a TF jump.
There it is.
Yeah. Hi, what do you want to see from the mid lane over on EG side?
I don't think he has very much choice. Whatever he picks, he's going to get counter-picked. I imagine Team Liquid's going to 4-pick the top lane here, like Raz said. So you have to pick something that's safe. For things that come to mind that are safe with everything that's banned, Syndra's a champion that's pretty safe. Orianna's a champion that's pretty safe. I imagine he'd probably just go Ori. It's a pretty good combo with Gnar and
I like that.
Xin Zhao. It's the safest pick also, and it's also still just a strong lane. And in case you're laning versus Tristana mid, Ori does okay into it. There's like kill pressure like at, you know, like 3, but like if you get to level 7 or 8, Tristana can't really kill you anymore. So I would go Orianna here if I was in Jizuke's shoes. I might be like a one-trick Orianna too, I don't know. But he doesn't have very much option here.
And the mid lane position just going more and more towards the opening up towards those control mages once again, but it's actually going to be a Camille for Team Liquid. Locked in here for the top side, Raz.
Yeah, so that just means that, you know, they have a pretty strong team fight set up. Leona, Cass, and what's it called, Camille Ultimate. It's going to be difficult for Kai'Sa, generally speaking. So I wonder what's going to come through. Ooh,
Yeah,
I
this might
actually
be a
like
Galio angle too for Team Liquid. They have a really good comp
nice
for
draw.
Galio, and a lot of mids are. Never mind. Oh no, they didn't. Yeah, they
There
didn't.
it
Never
is.
mind.
Yeah.
No, I wanted the Galio for Team Liquid, not the other way. Maybe
Okay,
this is
okay,
a
fair
take
enough.
pick.
It's a
Because,
good, it's a good denial.
Impact is like, there's Camille, you are playing Galio. I'm not laning versus that, you know?
Yeah.
Very true, and also like just the fact that working with Xin Zhao, just empowering them a little bit more for any time they invest in a bot lane skirmish. I think it's a really good pick up there.
Yeah. So here's a Syndra, and I think overall it's good to blind Syndra here. I think taking away the Galio makes it much safer to play the Syndra because you do not want to be playing Syndra into Camille Galio. My biggest issue with the EG draft here is, again, I think Syndra's a fine pick. I don't think it's a good pick for EG. I don't think it's a pick that you want to be playing necessarily on side lanes when you have a Camille running around the map. I think it doesn't allow Jizuke to go for a lot of the playmaking that has made this team strong in the past. And now we've seen 2 drafts in a row where EG has left the pick for Jizuke until final pick, into the second phase. And I personally feel that they should be prioritizing a little bit earlier. We talked a little bit about the early pick on the Gnar and the early pick on the Kai'Sa. I would rather they drop one of those picks into later in the draft, especially knowing how flexible Impact can be as a player.
It's a classic matchup in the mid lane now as we see Raz. Do you feel it is a detriment to EG to have Jizuke on a pick that doesn't necessarily lean into his tendencies to go and make plays in the side lanes?
No, I actually do quite like this. Something that was mentioned was the fact that not only is Syndra a good laner versus Orianna, but also I think Jizuke is a good laner. So this really empowers the first 10 minutes that he's generally known for.
You know, I don't really like EG's comp, if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
It's very hard to play that comp. You have like 3 to 4 very conditional characters that are strong in certain situations. Otherwise, they're super weak, right? Like, Kai'Sa's the only champion out of the 4 that are just strong all around.
Yeah, I think the main thing I just want to see is Galio, Xin Zhao, and a Kai'Sa follow-up in team fights. I think makes it easy for them.
Yeah, well, the thing that I want to see is the action that we have going down between these 2 teams. It is evil geniuses that are battling to try and secure that bye when it comes to playoffs. Team Liquid, Kaizen, I know that you're watching to see if they are able to defeat teams above them or if they're just going to keep punching
win this
on
game.
down low. Everybody, let's go ahead and get into the game.
Hello and welcome back to Summoner's Rift. Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid are doing battle right now. EG looking to claim the throne of best team in the LCS. They came in today with the best record of any team in Summer Split, tied with 2 others, but making a case as the best team here.
Yeah, and I think they've been pushed a little bit more in their drafts recently. We heard the analyst desk talking about this one. I wonder if they giga-brain some of this because the Gnar pick, they banned the GP and then the Aurelia. And then, one of the things you're going to want to play is Camille Galio into that. They take the Camille, but then the Galio also pairs well with the Kai'Sa, which they took early. I was like, oh my god, EG's galaxy braining this draft. And then, at the end, you're like, oh, this is actually a pretty hard draft to pilot, which you heard the analyst desk talking about. So this will be a pretty tough game. And I think that's actually in some ways good to see how EG is going to stack up in the best of 5s where, you start getting targeted a lot harder than in the regular season where people are prepping for 3 opponents a week and this kind of stuff.
Right.
I think, this is a good test for them.
I will say, though, looking at individual parts of the draft, one player I've been putting a lot of effort into paying attention to is Alfari, and looking at his champion pool. And basically, his comfortable champion pool is about 4 champions right now. Renekton, Gangplank, Gnar, and Camille. His Kennen, for example, though it's in there, has a 50% win rate. I feel like he's copped off that entirely. Renekton was banned on one side, Gangplank banned on the other, Gnar taken to that side, and so he's down to Camille, his 5th most played champion all time, and he's, doing okay on it, but, we'll see how it goes. But it feels like EG has, gotten some work done in the draft.
And I think small effective champion pools can be good. Like Impact and Jizuke recently have played like 3 or 4 champions each.
Yeah.
They play Renekton and Lucian or Syndra or Ryze and these kinds of things. So I think that can be fine, especially if you're going to get good matchups. Like Camille to Gnar is one of the big counter picks because you get huge kill threat on it in the game when he's in mini form and once you get all your abilities unlocked. And they have tools to help him out, like Leona roams top core. JJ is one of the highest roaming percentage supports in the league. They can play around Alfari. We've seen it before. So I think in some sense, TL's draft does work for them. But you are right that it's like, all right, this is what you're going to do pretty much every game if this is your champion pool.
For sure. One thing I do want to point out, actually, as well, thinking of champions and performances and whatnot, is I want to see, as they fight in the top side, I want to see more Holdbreaker second on Gnar. I think it really is a viable option here. The more I've watched of Gnar, basically since these Stridebreaker buffs, everyone is going Stridebreaker Gnar now instead of, or sorry, not Stridebreaker, but Divine Sunderer.
Yes.
Divine Sunderer Gnar is a very, very good duelist and is sitting in side lanes a lot and is doing a lot of split pushing. Holdbreaker fits that playstyle well second, and he can get a lot of turret damage down. Now, of course, we can pivot to the fact that Santorin's waiting top, looking for Impact to go for his next fight, but there isn't one to be had.
And to that point, I think with Gnar, in specifically this matchup, you can kind of see how you're doing. If you're going Divine Sunderer first, you look at it, have I died 4 times? Okay, I'm not going Hullbreaker.
Right.
I'm never going to get next to the turret. I'm going to be under threat from this Camille the whole game. If the Camille ganks fail, maybe you can make it work.
Good stun, though. Big damage to Jizuke, now traded back around, but Svenskeren doesn't have a teammate. Comes out okay for it. Jensen, of course, doesn't have any hard CC pre-6, so it's, no harm, no foul, but takes a fight that his mid laner has no really way of helping.
Yeah, ran out of mana, clearly wanted to TP back on the wave. They're going to do it here to try and contest the Scuttle Crab. We'll see if it works because Gnar came down a little bit. Seems like EG will grab the top Scuttle there. Works out in the end.
Yeah, Jizuka getting his TP off for basically just the tier. Now he can start stacking that one up and feel good about it. Bot lane control in as well for Ignar and Danny, at least a little bit, as Corja J kind of runs away from the brush. So Svenskeren was able to get a 4-camp clear, basically skipping Krugs and Raptors, which is very expected if he's against the champions. He's going to get double Scuttle, but Santorin will get 2 camps of his own.
Yeah, Santorin, this is one of the things that fans were excited with him coming back. I mean, last game was not about Santorin. It was about the bot lane for Team Liquid, and we'll get into that. But it's something that people are excited with Santorin coming back is that he plays the game so intelligently. This is not what we saw in the last game. We're talking about Iconic. Maybe he should have just ditched the second Scuttle and not actually try to contest it. I mean, this is exactly what Santorin did here. He's like, all right, I ended up on top side. I'm not going to get that bot Scuttle, so I'm just going to take this and get my first recall off a little bit earlier.
Yep, got our mid pressure, push the mid laner TP. Okay, he TP'd. All right, well, I'm off. We're gonna hit the camps. But yeah, now his Gromp is back up and chooses the recall walking around. Sheen for Viego, pretty expected off of getting 6 camps. No recall yet for Svenskeren, so if they do meet in some kind of 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, Centaur may get the better of him. Impact shoving in the top side. There are a few more minions for Alphari to kill as he gets the cannon there, but pressure, of course, still definitely on Gnar's side.
And that'll be the case in this matchup for a little bit early on. It's not uncommon to see Gnar with the CSD lead even sometimes on average when you're looking at the stats for this matchup, but it's something that, you don't pick it for the CSD lead pre-10 minutes. You pick it to kill the Gnar's ass 10 times in lane, through the rest of the game.
Yep. You find the engagement. Gnar has among the lowest base stats in League of Legends, and so is a killable champion. Gonna find a stun and a taunt across the supports, but Ignar's gotta be careful. Exhaust has been burned. The ignites as well. Is it enough? Tactical can't get the rest of the damage, and now he's just too far up. Knocked into the air, slowed as well. Svensker forced to flash away, but the Gnar TP is in, and Alphari's gotta turn tail and run.
Man, EG are so smart. When I saw that TP coming in initially, I just assumed that it was Jensen. I was so sure. I was like, this is a bad play by EG. You're down TP. Your mid laner TP'd first. You're going to end up in a 5v4 if you full commit to this. But we saw on screen Jizuke actually canceled Jensen's TP. I have to assume that that was communicated. And EG knew when they took that fight that they are not going to get outmanned because Jizuke has held Jensen in lane. He's not going to TP at 400 health with no mana. And so that was why that fight was actually winnable for EG. And I think this is something that sets them apart in the league right now. They're so aggressive. Everyone talks about that kind of side of them. But they're also really smart in their setup to the fights. Sometimes they'll go a little hard mechanically and in the moment situations, but their forethought is actually incredible most of the time.
And now another fight in the bottom side. The ult's coming across. Not much for the Gnar to do. It's going to be a couple of slows and a flash just as the ultimatum ends. Impact only loses a summoner spell to stay alive.
All right, we're getting into a bit of a wonky game state here. We got Syndra in the top lane already. The bot lane's holding mid with Ignar. People aren't recalling on Team Liquid side. You get the flash out of Impact there. We'll have to see how this stabilizes. Santorin's holding the wave top. It's definitely gotten into a bit of an interesting situation, and it looks like people are going to start going back to the right lanes.
Yeah, as Jensen's TP got stopped, he ran top, finished the wave because Alphari's wave was super screwed.
Yeah.
And he saw the waves getting pushed, so Jizuke off his recall also went top, which meant mid was open, so Danny and Ignar showed up because the Gnar was staying. It's this is all smart play, right? People oh, the best play right now is to catch this wave, or it's 100 gold and 200 XP lost to nothing.
Yeah.
I should get that. And then that just keeps going.
It's the cascading that's always funny to watch. How did you end up here? But the steps to get there are actually fairly logical, all things considered.
Right.
Now that we've stabilized a little bit again, I mean, this is something that I love about EG's gameplay. They are so insanely aggressive. Svenskeren has 29% 4% in the jungle position, which means 29% of his time is basically spent in the enemy jungle or
past the river.
Past the river. That is 8% higher than the next closest at 21%. And then everyone else is basically between 21% and 19%.
Yeah.
He is so much more aggressive and coordinates it well with his mid laner Jizuke, who's also really aggressive. Impact's really aggressive, and they just play such an insane playstyle compared to the rest of the league right now, and a lot of that keys off their jungler.
Yeah, he counter jungles basically 40-50% more than the average jungler in the LCS, to put it in different terms, and that's really, really good. Speaking of really good, the fact that there is a first blood kill on Impact, going to feel comfortable. Obviously, he's down in CS based in the wave state when he took his TP, but now battling Alphari, and you know, with the Phage, has decent sustain and is feeling okay about the lane right now.
Yeah, I think given the fact that he lost his flash as well, picking up that kill, getting accelerated a little bit in the game, this is one of the things that can kind of extend that period of time before you start being threatened by Camille's all in. And it's possible that you get far enough ahead that you actually are never threatened. We'll have to see if EG can continue to find ways to get gold onto Impact, because he is down CS right now after staying bot lane for that extended period of time. But all things considered, in a decent spot. We'll have to see if they can keep making plays, because it does feel like the onus is on them a little bit, and we'll probably get outscaled as the game goes on.
Advantage vision right now for Teal on the bottom river. Ignar just could have controlled on that brush, but CoreJJ's come back over here. Just says, I'm just here to share gold. This is our cannon minion comrade, and I'm going to go counter jungle and put some wards down.
Yeah, it's just annoying to try and play against when the support has vision in the bot side river. You don't know, is he sitting in the brush right there, you know, the tri-brush, and waiting to gank my bot lane? Or is he in mid lane waiting to gank my mid laner? Once you have that much control, the enemy team has no way of knowing where CoreJJ actually is. He could even be topside for all you know. And I think, yeah, when we talk about the strengths of EG, this is the strength of Team Liquid. CoreJJ being one of the largest roaming supports in the league, and they often do it when Tactical has pressure. He's actually the highest 4% AD carry in the league, which means he's not hugging the turret, you know, clutching his CS where he can get it. He's actually playing aggressively while CoreJJ is roaming.
All right, Bagel coming across. Good damage for Impact, layering all the cooldowns well. Now Alphar gets the backflip, but careful. There's a jungler arriving. The Hextech ultimatum into Mininar into the kill. Alphari baits in Impact. The jungler has arrived. Svenskeren may not win this fight. Forced to flash. Is there a follow?
No, Santorin, welcome back to the LCS.
Bring back our Mayo.
Oh, get out of here. It's got to work the rust off, all right? You know,
okay.
It's, you know.
I know.
He was in the right place at the right time. They already won the play. It would have been nice to get the second kill there on Svenskeren, but you're still going to get the Rift Herald. You know, very nice play by Team Liquid there. Just unfortunate flash.
All right, Herald looks to be taken no problem. Svenskeren obviously forced back to base, and we can watch that fight again. It's a very good setup by Impact, but Alphari stays alive, and the jungler's coming.
Yeah, I think they want, to coordinate Svenskeren coming over the wall with the Blast Cone after he finishes his camp out, and they just, this is one of the things, EG does. They take the risk. They don't know exactly where Santorin is, and they think that we can get to this play first. It's just unfortunate that it took a little too long for Svenskeren to collapse, because you can see a world where you kill our Alphari right when Santorin gets there, and you win this 2v2. Just a little too late, and then Svenskeren, after taking the Blast Cone's over, in a lot of trouble. Aye!
Yeah.
He was going for the fat wall flash to end up kind of near where that banner
and then
is.
W, yeah.
But just didn't quite have the range on it.
Yep. And I gotta say, right, you play that fight back in your mind a couple of times. What are the odds Santorin's closer than Svenskeren? Right? 25% that he's closer than Svenskeren is when Svenskeren's on Gromp? Okay, well, 60% of the time, that is a free kill. 25% of the time, that's a death. Those are good odds. That's a fight you take.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think the only thing I'll say that makes it a little weird in this situation is that you are playing into a very volatile matchup. And so when you start taking these percentage-based fights versus the certain ones, you're risking turning this matchup over into something that's going to become a very big win condition for your opponent. You do this bot lane, if you had an opportunity to make a play like Kai'Sa, Galio versus Leona is not going to blow the game open, really, unless it gets really, really bad.
Sure. Nope. Well done, of course, by Santorin to be there in time. Good job by Alphari calling him over and surviving until reinforcements arrive. We have a tied game, basically. No one's taken a dragon just yet. Gold basically flat across these teams as we wait for the Divine Thunderers to come through for the two big bruisers on the TL side. But looks like we've got ourselves a bit of a dragon play. CoreJJ kind of fighting for ward control.
I have to see if they actually want to contest this. Basically, everything's available for everyone but some flashes. You have the TPs for the top laners to come in. Everyone's kind of postured around this dragon. I expect it's just some vision control, and without a clear advantage for either team to get a foothold in it, they'll probably all back off and go back to regular jungling here.
All right, end of the day, yeah, waves cleared back and forth. It's going to be a 20 CS lead. You can see Impact actually feels safe. He is one of the Gnars I've seen will you know, say, you're not going to hit me, Alfari. I'm not worried about you. And we'll actually take to demolish it. I have seen other Nars in very similar matchups be like, but what if I get engaged on? It's like, no, this is a turret plate. We're taking this one. Whew. Ulti in, and here's the damage output, the backflip, and yeah, impacts at half HP, but then this is the other half of the matchup. Cooldowns are down, cool, I go back in, and trades back to half health. By the way, this is how you have to play these matchups. Camille has cooldowns. You go to half, and then you get her back to half yourself.
The fact that she committed the ult, too, means it's a little bit safer, because the concern that you have is she lands the E, she lands the Cho'Gath Q, Cho'Gath ult on Q kind of thing, and you get chunked out, and then you're still facing all-in threat at half HP. But because you got the ult out, it's a little bit safer for Impact to continue pushing up in this matchup. And this is something I appreciate about Impact, too, is he's always talked about being the safe weak side guy, but with EG, he's transformed into being a lot more aggressive of a player. He's actually top in CSD at 15, tops in kills and assists at 15. Like, he is bought into the EG playstyle, and his malleability as a player to slot into different playstyles and teams has made him one of the top laners in the region forever, basically.
Forever, yeah. He's consistently been an absolutely stellar performer, but TL have started to edge a bit of a gold lead here as they've gotten some damage across, and now they're looking at the first dragon of the game, and Svenskern's coming around, smite fight! How are they gonna play it? 1020, and I guess, yeah, Santorin realized he didn't have smite himself. He thought, okay, maybe we could just be cheeky. Wait a second. You'd hit if you had it. Okay, mine.
Yeah, I mean, Alfari actually burned his TP back up for the top side. We were talking about the kind of even TP state. He went for the greedy, like, I'm Camille, I'm split push, and I'm not going to say it's wrong because you are playing that champion. He went for what he needs to be the win con. The Cloud Drake right now is not the end of the world. The nice thing about what TL did there, even though they don't have the smite, is it's basically saying, hey, EG, force us off of this. And it burns the TP out of Impact to secure it. And now you've kind of neutralized that TP advantage that they might have had if you just went back to normal laning. So I actually like that play for TL, even though they lose the Dragon for it. You kind of just put enough threat to make them commit to you.
So, yeah, and of course with TP's traded, it's basically what Dragon for a minion wave. As you mentioned, top lane match is volatile, right? So I want to see this pay out. Because there is a world, and you can't know now, right? We're talking about percentages of percentages. There's a world where EG get a Dragon Soul in time that, like, it's too late for the split push. That's a possible timeline we're in. There's a possible timeline in where Alfari, by me up a wave, gets a solo kill and wins the game through top. Both these are possibilities, and it's like, well, you're playing odds.
Yeah, and I think, you know, there was also that skirmish we saw before. Alfari was, like, around half HP. Maybe he was like, I'm going to get dove soon. So he wanted to do the TP back. You know, there's all these variables that you have to take into account, especially when you're playing a volatile matchup.
Alrighty, well, Impact back to being Mega Gnar, or just about. Santorin winning around. Is there going to be a dive? Are you going to jump and ult me? Alfari trying to play, like, at the range where Impact could, like, kind of reach forward and maybe try, and ultimately no play to be had. But you can see now Svenskeren coming around behind him. Trinket Ward, I believe, not quite in range of him, but that control ward certainly is. So, okay, information known. Off we go. Mid is under fire.
Yeah, nice reaction here by Team Liquid. Jizuke was kind of roaming up to the top side there to try and make something happen, and TL, with the vision that they had, saw the play coming, countered mid lane instead, put pressure down there to force Jizuke back into his own lane, and now you can potentially spill it over bot lane. You know, Danny has to be careful here. You see him scared to walk up, because even though Santorin just recalled, he thinks he's in my jungle.
Well, right now it's the bottom lane under attack. Team Liquid may have a small CS deficit, or had, but they've managed to knock down the entire turret. They tied up the CS score, because it was like 20 apart for like the entire landing phase. But now 60 minutes in, that score is tied. They've got the first turret here as well, and we're back on the board of Team Liquid bot lane being maybe the very best in the league. Great ult to get away from the scoop, and now we've got Santorin coming around. TP's in as well. The flash to land the stun because they've got reinforcements. Shockwave is going to be a guarantee, and it's going to be the kill picked up. Ult not even required.
Yeah, that's one of those TP advantages you're talking about. Jizuke had burned it earlier. There, they're able to find the kill. And, I mean, Team Liquid is looking so clean right now, all things considered. I mean, the way they're moving around the map and kind of transitioning their power, the fact that they had all those extra turret plates, you're talking about the gold lead that they had. The CS is maybe a little bit in their favor, but they actually got a number of turret plates in the mid lane and the bot lane prior to that turret dropping. And so this is where Team Liquid has this gold lead. With the comp, that's probably going to outscale, all things considered as well. Like I said, like I feel great about how they're playing this game. They don't need to be the super aggressive team. They have neutralized Jizuke. 0-0-0 Jizuke at 15 minutes. How many games do you see that? Almost never. Jensen's actually the lowest kills and assists at 15 mid laner. Like, he's just not super involved. But if you're going to neutralize the enemy team's biggest threat, then like, hey, great job, dude. You did exactly what I need you to do.
Yeah. And even there, you can see some of the patience. Jensen let a full wave get denied the top lane outer. It's like, I feel safe. My team is around. They can roam to me. I'm in no rush to kill his turret. I'm just going to deny another 100 gold, another 200 XP, one more wave Juke's not getting, and then cool, we'll deal with the rest of it later. Impact and Alfari still, squaring off, but CS leads about 15 up there.
Yeah, I'm loving watching this matchup. They're both playing it pretty well. I mean, the jump on the scoop in the kill previously was super clean, so this is a bit of a treat to watch. Two of the best top laners in the LCS right now going toe-to-toe in a skilly matchup. That is, I will admit, Camille favored a little bit.
Sure it is, but hey, good job to still make it come through, and obviously the extra kill and assist to his favor is being around with the jungler, getting the attention, and making the fights work well, so can't really complain. In a matchup where the guy TP'd up to get first blood in the bot lane, right? So, even we're set behind a bit of gold sometimes. Mid lane outer will fall, and just like that, Team Liquid have now claimed all 3 outer turrets. Tristana got 2, Jensen got the other, and so far there's no breaks in the train. Team Liquid's still in a great spot.
Yeah, with Infernal Dragon coming up in 30 seconds, I fully expect them to just take this one pretty freely. I don't think EG will look to contest, especially with Jizuke on the top side. He is starting to move down here, but I don't think this is the moment that you pick your fight for EG.
They're not.
So I think what happens after here is actually the interesting part for me, because Team Liquid has at points in this split struggled to explode the gold lead after being in a good state, and EG has flipped game states on their head.
Yeah, well, EG trying to maybe flip the game state towards top lane right now. You can see Jizuke is top lane without teleport. He is never in this dragon fight. The rest of the team is not going up as well. And Alfari saying, if no one's here, I can see us on the turret. But I'll bet they're coming. So
Yeah.
goes for Krugs instead. Yeah, he sacks a wave. Yes, Svenskeren may get more of the gold from this one. But Alfari knows what the play is. It's like, okay, I'll play back, no problem. We got Dragon, cool, I'll play weak side for a minute.
And the rest of TL is deep inside EG's bot side jungle here. You can see them with total vision control, and they know they are not bot lane. They are not bot jungle. Alfari, you play safe, you play back, but not bad trading, all things considered.
And look how smart this is. They're not even going for the Dragon because, hey, you gave up bot side. Cool, we'll take bot lane tier 2. We'll crash Rift Herald maybe into the inhibitor turret. Now, there is still a fight going topside. That's going to matter quite a lot. We'll see if the TPs can join in. Of course, Jensen without one makes that difficult, but there could be a 2-on-2 up there with Tristana on the way up as well. A stun is good damage. Alfari will not quite die. Of course, itemized for armor. Means he's a bit weak to Jizuke, but will not be killed.
That was actually a huge stun there by Jizuke. Even though they didn't get the kill there, basically stopped. Well, maybe we'll see if he still dies. Hold on here. Core JJ's in the brush.
And they're TPing back in, so there's the stun, there's the layering of all the crowd control. Is it going to be enough into the instant X-Deck ultimatum? Jizuke will finish the turret, but die. It's still, I mean, it's gold positive for the Syndra, but there's finally the Dragon being claimed. TL 4-2 in turrets.
Yeah, that was just a clever play by Core JJ. You know, I was saying Jizuke, he's chunked out Alfari. He thinks, all right, kill threat down. I thought the same thing. But this is why Core JJ is so smart, is he knows Jizuke is going to stick around and greed for this turret. Look how low it is. And Jizuke's like, I just chunked this guy out. They still hadn't seen Tristana up until this point. So, Jizuke's like, all right, I'll finish this turret off. He has no idea, totally out of vision that Core JJ has snuck into this rush. They're going to time it with the TP coming in. And I think Jizuke makes the right call here. Like, don't waste your time trying to kill them. Just get that last auto attack onto the turret. Finish it off and just accept, like, hey, tip of the cap. You're smart, Core JJ. You're world champion.
Yep. And even just like Mike analyzing the Jizuke play, it's like, well, he chose to walk back into fog to say, maybe I'm not here anymore, instead of staying and seeing the brush entrance. I think there's a world where either play makes sense, because obviously Core snuck in because he walked back, but 90% of the time, walking back is the right play because I'm gone. Object permanence. Am I staying? Am I not?
Are you a baby? You have object permanence.
I mean, it's more like, am I roaming to your red? Am I going mid? Right? Like,
am
that's
I going
valuable.
to get vision somewhere else? And let me take
right.
Yeah. I got what you're saying. Just the idea of object
know.
permanence.
I know.
Jizuke doesn't have object permanence is a great thing. I'm sure the coach streamers will enjoy.
In this case, Core JJ is like, hang on a second. You could come back. And he's right.
Yeah.
TL are doing really well though, and I believe, yeah, this is going really nicely for TL. 4,000, 3.5 the lead.
It looks really clean, and to that point I was making about their mid to late game transition sometimes being a little slow. I'm not feeling that right now. Maybe part of that is due to Santorin being such a veteran and having an idea of what he wants to do in the game, as they have a brush bait here.
Ooh. Okay, flash away. They're going to stay alive. Core JJ on the way out as well, and it looks like they're going to be okay. Keep in mind, if EG drop this game, they can no longer catch TSM or 100 Thieves at 29 wins. It locks those first 2 binds, as only EG could challenge for the spot. And that means we lock those ones off. But similarly, it means TL can take away 3rd place. They can take the easier seed.
And that's what I was going to say, is within the top 5, there's a pretty clear top 5.
And then Dignitas.
No offense to them, but like, I would love to be 3rd seed and play them over whoever's in 4-5, which is TL, C9, or something like that. Or EG.
Right. TL, EG, C9 are all very, very, very good. That is a tough first opponent. And then there's Dig to get 3rd. Right now, if TL take that win, not only do they match EG at 27, they own the head-to-head 3-2. And then just, okay, keep up, keep pace with Cloud9, keep pace with EG. Like, you now own your destiny, TL, and get the first-round matchup. And this will, again, be a Dignitas diss. It's kind of like a first-round bye.
Yeah, and I think, given that both teams have pretty hard strength of schedules too. EG's playing 100 Thieves tomorrow, TL's playing C9. Like, there's a ton of stakes in these matchups for, like, can EG get all the way up to, like you said, stealing that bye away? Well, not if Team Liquid keeps playing like this, because they're now 3,000 gold behind. Like we said, gonna have a hard time finding targets to kill. I mean, if Impact hits a fat flank, I mean, like, this is the kind of stuff you need to start thinking about. Like, Impact needs to find a flank for Ignar to ult on top of with Danny, and hopefully Jizuke is in range to drop his ult, and you just obliterate Jensen or Tactical. But there's so many threats on TL's side, like, legitimately all 4 can carry a team fight, depending on how it plays out.
Sure.
That this kind of single target blow someone up threat, you actually need to play it better than that. Like, a single kill when you're down a lot of gold is not going to be enough to maybe win that team fight, because Jensen will pop off. Alfari will pop off.
Yeah, and Alfari has not gone for a team fight focused build. Sterix is a fairly common second item if you just want to be in the team fight and survive, but has gone Ravenous Hydra. Not rare, to be sure, but it gives him the wave clear, gives him sustain. It makes him really, really, really good in a side lane. Just a bit riskier in the team fight, but hey, he's going to play to make sure he can crush that side lane.
I like it, all things considered, because teams have playstyles. Players have playstyles. And if Alfari's like, I did that greedy TP, I want the gold, I want to, focus on myself because I'm going to carry the game. This is definitely the carry the game in the split push build. You also have a pretty strong 4-man core that with Tactical, Jensen, Santorin, and Core JJ basically being a team comp in their own right between the 4 of them, that they're going to have a fine time controlling vision around the Baron, making plays without him. They're not relying on their top laner to be there like you could argue Singed was needed to be there in the previous game. Here, yeah, Alfari, go split push your head off. We don't need you, and if you get far enough ahead, you just win the game. We don't even need the rest of us.
And it is relatively common to just go Titanic Hydra second instead. It's actually her second most popular option behind Ravenous to go for like that different splitting, because there is a Syndra on that team, right? Like, there is some burst available. Again, not saying it's wrong, just calling out that there are other options here. Getting now some MR and health may just be a Spirit Visage to make sure you can survive in those battles. The TP coming across to the mid lane because, hey, guess what? The Dragon's spawning up in 4 seconds, and right now it is Evil Geniuses with a bit of control and early flash force out of Jizuke as Alfari is chunked down to below 1,000 health. But they will stay alive, but this means TL have been pushed off.
Yeah, we were just talking about Alfari and the build and the choices. He's grouped up his 5 here, not up in top lane trying to generate pressure or anything for this Dragon. And then he goes face first into the Syndra, and it's like, yeah, you can maybe blow her up, but also you can get blown up. And I mean, they're making the right play here. They're trying to trade Dragon for Baron pressure.
Completely on vision though, right? And Syndra ult is still up, so now can they build the space? Impact has ulti, Impact has Mega Gnar soon, but it's down to 4K. Will it be a smite? Can it happen? Well done, Team Liquid. They claim the Baron, and EG are caught with a dragon in their hand.
It's a mastermind the whole time. They baited them into blowing all the cooldowns on Alfari. They go to Dragon, we get the Baron. Really nicely done. High damage. We're talking about all the threats on Team Liquid. That's one of the payoffs that you have. Huge Baron threat. They melt through it before EG can contest. EG was thinking, hey, we got 2 or 3 people in the area. We can slow them down. Not the case at all. Nice buster shot by Tactical as well to make sure that there was no engaged threats, really. They grabbed the Baron, and they all hop out of there.
And I don't know if Jizuke wants this anymore. Yeah, indeed going to fall back. Alfari going to claim a blue with Jensen right behind him, by the way. So a bit of a me choice there, but Santorin's on the way down as well. There's a bunch of vision. Can you really clear that, though? Be careful. Yes, you can, because it was a bait, and Galio has arrived. Alfari has been shut down. Thanks for the blue buff.
Oh, Alfari, no, buddy. He didn't learn his lesson from mid lane.
Nope.
I mean, you have to know that they're probably around the Syndra. Like, everyone just took some objectives. People are resetting. Hold on here. Whoa.
This is a lot
Let's go Tactical.
Damage. Tactical decision, Summoner! Who needs a rocket jump?
Man, Tactical popping off, answering back. There's still a lot of pushing going on, but Santorin is recalled to control here. Also has Baron buff, should be able to stop Impact while the rest of Team Liquid push down the mid lane. 20 seconds on Ignar, 15 on Alfari.
Well, you said anyone on TL can carry. Guess what? The roulette wheel has landed on Tactical. This man will carry 286 CS, highest on his team. He's got like 4 turret kills to his name, and a solo for good measure.
And he's been carrying all split long, to be fair.
Yes.
I think he has flown under the radar. With some of the struggles of 100 Thieves recently, I think you can make the case at least like, hey, let's take another look at Tactical's performance this split. I mean, he's top in DPM, damage percent. He's top in CSD at 15, 4% at 40, like I covered earlier. You know, damage per gold off the charts. Like, his problem is he's also, you know, first in deaths amongst 80 carries because he's really aggressive. But he is not just, like, dying stupidly. It's usually like, I was trying to make a good play. Like, that Ignar kill there was because he was willing to, you know, try and make a play. And I think that's something that Tactical does arguably more frequently than anyone else in the league right now and more successfully.
Yeah.
And I think it's impressive, especially on a team in Team Liquid that was struggling in the middle of the split with, like, who's the carry? Jensen wasn't quite stepping up. You had the top lane situation going back and forth.
Right.
I think quietly, Tactical was actually incredible with Core JJ that entire time.
I know you mentioned a while ago the fact that, you know, he doesn't play under his turret, right? That Core JJ roams a ton, but he's got 4 percentage. It's because they're winning their lane, right?
Yeah.
They're winning the 2-on-2, pushing up and saying, they're under turret. Have fun, Core. Just go for it, bud.
If Core leaves before you push the wave, you can't push the wave. You can't do that. So, of course, they have to already be winning the matchups to then have that kind of, those two numbers exist at the same time.
Yep. But then he's putting out the damage, he's winning the lanes, he's doing a whole lot of stuff, and obviously so is the rest of the team now at this point, as the gold lead remains quite strong. And the end of the Red Bull Baron power play is a 5,500 gold lead. Yeah, they're down a dragon. They don't care. The gold lead is what matters.
Yeah, map state matters as well, not just gold. You have great scaling in your favor. You have all these lanes pushed up. You don't have an inhibitor broken yet, but you have at least one of the turrets down. You might be able to grab that later. Or at the very least, you push all the way up to their base, force EG to walk all the way back out when they try and contest this next dragon. The only downside right now is that they did not have much stacking on the dragon with all the priority in the top side and the matchup like we covered. So it will be basically forever before we see an Elder Soul. Or Elder or Soul, I should say. So
sure.
I expect this game will end before then, probably on second Baron when Team Liquid
Alfari
has to come back up.
I don't think Jizuke saw him, but without
Alfari's learned his lesson.
Yeah, there were no reinforcements for the man. No one was around him. Jensen didn't even have a ward he could TP to because Alfari didn't have one of those either. So it was like, all right, there's a chance I solo kill. There's a chance I kill myself. He's got a stopwatch. Let's just, you know, let's just peel back.
Yeah, I like that decision. You know, you saw Impact was in range. Like, maybe Alfari can outplay it. You jump the Syndra stun or ult or something, and you get the kill. But given where you are in the game right now, I can understand playing a little bit more risk-averse. There's no objectives up, so it's like if he died there, you know, honestly, EG wouldn't be, like, back in the game or anything. But by that same token, he wouldn't have gotten much for taking that risk.
All right, here we go. Next dragon up, 20 seconds. You might as well claim it. There's no reason to give EG soul point when you're the one in the lead. Like, don't give him that win condition. So bottom river wants to be owned, but the recalls are a bit late. You can see mid lane is still being kind of pushed back down. And Tio going to take
awkward pathing,
a really awkward path. Alfari on split push. This one I don't mind. He has TP to join, so hey, earn the gold, keep the lead going. But they've got to be willing to fight, I feel like. You don't absolutely have to take this, but I feel like they would want to. However, they've been pushed entirely out. Alfari's not channeling it. And TL indeed will trade top lane tier 2 for soul point. In direct value right now, way better for TL. Does it matter down the line? Maybe.
Yeah, I think TL had the right idea, but flubbed the execution a little bit. You talk about the late recalls. We talk about the path. Jensen had to walk all the way around the entire jungle to try and meet up with his team. If you had your 4 core in the river already, I mean, you know, EG grouped as 5 is going to get mid priority, but if you're already, you know, just sacking mid priority and controlling the dragon and forcing them into you, during that time, Alfari should be pushing in the top lane. But because they had this awkward roundabout path to try and get together, EG just took the dragon too quickly, and Alfari did get the top side turret, but honestly, if I'm EG, I'm like, well, at least we're on soul point now. We have a potential way back into the game as long as we don't lose in the next 4 minutes.
And as everything gets dropped down, we look for the next big move. Dragon, yes, gone for a while. Cool. Evil Geniuses on Ocean Soul Point. That can be scary. But that said, you know, Tristana can burn through it, sure, no problem. But the 7,000 gold lead means it's a Baron setup. It spawns in 3 seconds. This is now the play. We look only at the top river. Baron is up, and EG and TL are going to fight for vision.
Honestly, not much vision control for either team when you know, this is allowing EG to actually get some control here. And Alfari has a long lane to start pushing down. Someone will have to recall soon. I'm sure Impact will make that once EG gets a little bit more vision control here. But maybe they'll just hard commit to the Baron and force Alfari into them.
Okay, I mean, last time around he didn't TP on the Dragon, so they're rushing down the Baron. Alfari is hitting minions. Alfari is hitting minions. Alfari is walking into the base, so they're going to go for the smite fight only. Is it going to happen? Impact is Megadar! Impact stuns, but no, it is going to be claimed. Team fight begins 5v4. TL trying to get away. It's one pick picked up by Tristana, and now Ignar has given himself away to be killed. Team Liquid win a team fight 4v5, and Alfari's here for good measure at the last moment to get one picked off. TL don't need a Baron, TL can team fight.
That was a crazy situation there. We saw EG grab the Baron. Alfari was giving it up, but then after the engage, he saw the opportunity to punish them over aggressive there. Danny wanted to finish off Jensen, couldn't get it done, and with that, it probably sets Team Liquid up to end the game here. They don't have any minions, and Jizuke is alive with the Baron buff, making it a little hard to clear, but it's 4v1 right now for another 10 seconds.
35 on Svenskeren as well. They get a lot of time to knock down so much of this game. They've got a wave. Jizuke, can he clear it? Tries for a bit, but there are still minions alive, so first turret down. Second turret down as well. Respawns come in. Shaga won't get much. Tactical will finish the turret, and it's time for the Nexus. A flash taunt, not going to get a whole lot done. A stopwatch burned. Alfari will die, and TL forced to run away. Keep in mind, there is one Baron on EG's mid laner, but can they get anything more? Impact has teleport, but does he have a relevant ward? Yes, he's come down from the top side. They're going to go for this fight. Can they chase it, though? That's the question. Impact on a build, his Rage Bar.
Has to go through minions, so TL's going to see this coming the whole way through. They are low, but...
No, I like the idea, though, right? If they screw up and you just, like, one-shot the Syndra, you run at the base, yeah, there's a really good, chance there. It is going to be recalls, though. TL, play it safe.
I like the idea of trying to cast the situation just with, like, the tone of the O's.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, that was a cute idea. I know, I do agree with it. Here, I actually am a little critical of Team Liquid. This is a big risk to take, and honestly, I think EG played it pretty well. They can then here use the Baron-empowered recalls potentially to get some people out and stop Alfari. I see what Danny's thinking. He's like, we can actually start winning the game. If you win this fight for EG, you are back.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate them taking that chance, just didn't have the damage. A good reaction by TL, too, all things considered, to punish as soon as they saw Danny go in. Alfari commits the TP now, and they're able to actually clean this fight up pretty easily. So EG almost found their foothold. It was like they're climbing up the wall. They jump, they grab it, and then it breaks off, and they fall back down.
So aside from the very obvious game state difference of your middle inhibitor's dead and you have no Nexus turrets anymore, which is very, very relevant, to be clear. The gold went equal trading hands. Baron itself, the one kill in the base, like, as far as cash trading hands, that hasn't gone anywhere, but obviously a base in shambles is a big lose condition.
And we talked about surviving the next 4 minutes for EG. I mean, they almost lost, but they did save the base. Their soul is coming up here if they can actually grab this somehow. It will be tough because you have, like, super high permanent backdoor threat now for Alfari, who has a great build for just nuking turrets and structures.
Yep.
And you have an open Nexus. So it's very dangerous, and TL always has these backdoor threats, but sometimes team get baited into tunneling on that versus playing just the standard game. Like, yeah, you have these weird map states, but you can also still just focus on controlling the dragon, which fortunately seems to be what Team Liquid's doing.
Playing around mid and bot. Camille always split up from the team. Very good to not be just stuck grouping permanently, as the Visage is coming through fairly soon. Did stop by for Hysteric's gauge, so much more durability in the team fights now.
Yeah.
Much less of a target here for the Syndra. As, of course, he's level 18. Of course, he has a lot of farm. Although, of course, Tactical still getting more of it. 383 CS, nearly full build.
Yeah, and it looks like EG is just going to give this one up. It's just too difficult, like you're saying, with the control they had. They did pick up 2 GAs as well. I don't think they had them in the Baron fights because both of them just died right away. So EG did pick up a little bit more power here with some of their completed items. And like you said, the gold lead is substantial for TL, but they're nearing a lot of their full builds. EG has a lot of room to make up for a lot of their champions. So from here, if TL doesn't win in the game in the next couple of minutes, EG will actually be closing the gold lead in practice, if not in actual numbers.
For sure. Dragon Soul, not the easy win condition. TL is still 10 minutes away from that one, but obviously you can, if you really want, wait the 100 seconds for a Baron number 3 and actually claim one. Or, claim one yourself. They got the first one and, cracked all the base with it. So we'll remain to see how aggressive they want to play this one out. Obviously, the middle inhibitor. You do want to play that wave yourself a bit. That inhib, if you ignore the entire thing, is 1,000 gold. And 2,000 XP, roughly. Or it's like 2,000 gold and change. Like, it's a lot of money handed over if you never play it.
And then you see, just Orianna Triss being like, we don't need the minion wave. You leave to try and deal with mid wave, the shielding and the just overheal as well, able to make Tactical take no damage at all, and they grab that one.
But Danny's still getting the farm. Obviously wants Infinity Edge. Jizuke going to take some of that farm. Jizuke is so has to run back to base, but it's not really something that TL can use reliably. Tactical having to play at the correct ranges, has to be a bit careful of the fact that, oh my word, that is Danny losing half his health bar. Of course, can ult in and get a big shield, but Tactical playing the range as well does a good job. Santorin forced the ulti out of the base at half health, and there is a red buff to fight, but he's going to take the recall instead, meaning TL are making the call that they're going for Baron and just kind of entertaining everything else.
Yeah, 40 seconds until it comes back up. So what they'll probably do here, the TP's back up for Alfari. They'll put him down in the bot wave, get the pressure onto that open inhibitor now. It should be pretty easy for him to get it 1v1 versus Impact if EG sends multiple members to contest the Baron. So we'll have to see what happens. I mean, EG probably not going to be in the position to do that Baron rush like they did last time, because you can no longer just kind of leave your base open for Alfari like they did then and be like, TP to us, Alfari, because if you do that, he's going to be like, no, I'm just going to take your Nexus.
Exactly.
So here, much higher pressure for EG to try and find an opportunity. If they can win the 4v4 while TL's in the Baron, maybe that's an option. Otherwise, maybe just kill Alfari and try and get another crack at this Ocean Soul.
Sure. Crucially, mid and bottom inhibitors are alive themselves, so it is another few thousand damage Alfari must deal to get access to the Nexus. So you have time to recall as long as you're not stopped by something. To end that one, you're going to see Gnar make his way back down to the bottom lane. Team Liquid still holding most of the cards. They own the macro game. Again, because of that base rush possibility, the extra win condition is going to keep EG's hands a bit tied. Baron is alive, and TL are playing the vision. Problem is there's some wards that spot these movements, and Evil Geniuses are aware that TL aren't doing much. Danny now going to check and goes, okay, they're not even in the pit. They got to be in this brush, right? Svenskeren sees CoreJJ, knows the reinforcements are around, and we have Alfari going cheekily in the bottom lane as well, hoping he can find that opening onto Impact.
Yeah, Impact did finally show on the bot wave, has to deal with that, so Alfari can't just ride it all the way into the base, but he's luckily hit Mega Gnar right when this wave pushes, so there's not much of an all-in threat, but Alfari's just going to keep the pressure up in the bot wave while this kind of song and dance happens in the mid lane. I expect TL to start the Baron soon. I mean, I feel like they have decent threat to two-man it while Jensen and CoreJJ control mid lane.
Are you going to get stunned up? CoreJJ, yes, he's going to go for the ulti, forces the flash, traded. But that's now an important cooldown. Ultimatum cast, good damage to the Impact, but Alfari's able to flash back to safety, and now they can chase down to Danny. Tactical has a red buff. Tactical could summon a heal for some more movement speed, and Danny is down about 1k health. Just like that, it is TL now with map control with better health bars and the look at Baron.
Yeah, I think Danny can heal up off this wave, though. We'll see if he can get enough back to go try and contest this. Jizuke recalling does have teleport, but they're just going to drop so fast. I think they're just going to have to give one up.
And that's good plays. Oh! Hey, there's always a chance.
I mean, we saw Boomerang steal a soul point, just yesterday.
Same team.
So, yeah, you never know.
Yeah, it was going to be Danny's turn, but no, not going to claim it. So Team Liquid, well played. Take the fight in mid lane, push them all the way out, and now there's no way back in. Good job by CoreJJ, right? Walks up, gets the attempted stun. That's going to force Svenskeren's flash, and now Team Liquid really do have all the cards. And we're going to see EG's base fall like a house of one. It's time for the top turret to start taking damage. Tactical, again, really unperturbed. Shockwave's not going to find much. Rockjump gets away, and Ignar now stunned up for some flash of safety. Big damage. That Locket Shield is huge, but it gets weighted out instead. Tactical has Guardian Angel. Jizuke still has his ultimate, but does he have a target? Right now, no. As they spam down the wave, his turret will just barely stay alive.
Tactical looking for minions to hit to heal up. They don't want to recall. And Alfari is still a threat in the bot side. Even though he lost his flash in that play, he can still get enough work done away from the main part of his team that he can end the game, just even in this distance if EG aren't careful.
Mid inhibitor down, top turret about to fall, and it's time for the bottom inhibitor itself to be attacked. Alfari doesn't need much more gold and certainly no more XP, but he's going to finish the wave and bring in the reinforcements. Top turret is gone. Against the Baron buff, EG are unwilling to engage the fight and maybe unable, maybe a mix of the two. Alfari playing it slowly in the bottom side as the 4v4 keeps dancing back and forth in the top lane. Tactical sidestepping. Svenskeren's wind becomes lightning. Still the front line here for Santorin, level 17 on him. Guardian Angel still available. Alfari through at the half, but now has to run away. Careful, because Mega Gnar is back up, and he doesn't want to be the one that risks it away. Keep in mind, a bad fight means Dragon Soul for Evil Geniuses.
Oh, here we go. Might be the engage.
Good damage. Ult's laid. Svenskeren misses the ulti, and they can't get the trade kill on Tactical. TP comes in for the rest of it. This is a 5 versus 4. A big mistake from the EG jungler. Loses all his health to the AD carry, and now they can maybe walk in the rest of the base. Health bars a bit low. Baron buff still on for a minute.
Baron buff on for a minute. They're gonna go down, get the third inhibitor, and at that point, you can basically just sit there. Maybe they don't even need. They can just use the Baron buff to finish this game.
Yeah, damage to Nezuke nearly kills him. Yes, the Buster shot is enough. Mega Gnar means some damage, but it's not going to be a kill. 2-0 so far, and there's just no reinforcements left. Impact is the attack, Impact is the death, and it will be EG going down. 12-4, controlled from start to finish. Team Liquid knocked down Evil Geniuses.
Knock down Evil Geniuses and knock down a top team. One of the things people were hungry to see out of Team Liquid, and with Santorum back, they're finally able to take out some of their main competition in the chase for the title. And we talked a lot about Alphari. He was the star of the early game, but hats off to Tactical at the end, finding a number of kills and just jumping aggressively at Jizuke, knowing he has the GA to keep him up if we're both going to trade deaths.
Yep. So Team Liquid controlling their destiny. They cannot make top 2. They can't reach the 29 wins that TSM and 100 Thieves have. But with knocking down Evil Geniuses, they own that head-to-head. They are tied for third with wins. Cloud9 can only keep pace with that themselves. So TL can, against all the curses, end in third place and not fourth, and look at a very easy first round of playoffs based on expectations.
And the other thing is, there's the bet between, I think it was Kaizen and Crumbs, but I don't remember who was on what side of it. But someone just lost the bet, someone just won.
That's how that works every single time. So, by the way, we could very well see either of these teams in the finals at the Prudential Center, so that means you can watch them do that. There are still a few tickets available for our semifinal face-off on Saturday, August 28th. Join us live and in person to witness the battle for the last spot in the championship. I cannot wait to see you there. I will do my best to say hi to everyone that I see. And we will see you on the other side of the break, where Tigress will be talking with 4JJ in the Verizon post-game interview. See you there.
Not me. I'm not talking to anybody.
Understandable. No one wants to talk to you. I don't.
Not gonna lie, Jake from State Farm. That Daniel deal got me some sweet savings on my insurance.
Daniel, State Farm offers surprisingly great rates to everyone.
Sure you do. Tell you what, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'll let you try the chunk, honey.
Oh, I'm good. Here's the deal. Great rates, kinda our thing.
You wanna meet the queen?
I'm not dressed for that. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I said, I know something that you don't know. Been through hell, how to come up a flow. I know something that you don't know. Run black man, better get that dough. I know something that you don't know. Came through stunning, yeah, I'm in my mode. I know something that you don't know. Run black man, better get that dough. I know something that you don't know. You don't know. I know something that you don't know. You don't know. Every day we caught up in.
Welcome back to the LCS, everyone. We are joined by Team Liquid's very own Core JJ for the Verizon post-game interview. A victory against Evil Geniuses today, 2-0 on the week thus far. How much do you personally care about taking wins against teams like EG that currently sit above you in the standings?
I mean, I know like people are talking about like Team Liquid can't win against a good team. If you want to consider EG is bad team, you can keep saying that, but we're gonna break all the bad narrative about Team Liquid.
Yeah, you want everyone to be thinking about the positives on Team Liquid side and how well you are doing in these moments. One thing that everyone was excited to see was Santorin's return here. How is it from your perspective now playing with the jungler that you had played with for so long prior to his exit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lucas is actually really well balanced jungler. So, but you know, our team is generally pretty volatile most of the time. I think with us, Lucas, I think we are in really good balance right now.
And even more into that, he's offering a sense of balance. But for you specifically, it feels like from the outside perspective, you're making a lot of plays. We assume you to be making a lot of the calls. What does he offer in terms of kind of sharing that communication role potentially?
Actually, how I feel playing with him is like pretty relaxed most of the time. It doesn't feel like we are doing something bad almost every time. And then he made a clutch play when we actually need it. Yeah.
Yeah, showing up when it counts, and every moment counts at this point in time because playoffs are on the horizon. We're seeing the meta shift as well, specifically in the mid lane and beyond. This was a bit of a slower game. How are you and the rest of the team responding to the changing meta, especially with playoffs just around the corner?
I'm not sure like what is the meta right now, to be honest. We need to try more, but we will see like when the playoffs is actually over, then winner is the meta. We all know winner is the meta. I hope whatever we do is gonna be the meta.
We always see that best of 5 meta kind of develop all the way through as well. You do have one single best of 1 left, though, for the week. You're going against Cloud9. We have your championship finals roster back together to face off against Cloud9 again. How do you think you're going to fare against the squad?
Well, I'm really glad we can finish our regular split with a 3-0 week against G9. It must be really cool, and it's gonna be in a good practice before playoffs.
Core JJ saying the 3-0 is already set in stone for Team Liquid here. Thank you so much for stopping by for the interview.
Thank you.
We are going to kick it to a break, but on the other side, we will see that Cloud9 squad in action against Dignitas. Make sure you stick around to find out what that result is, everybody.